Alright, let's look at this section 1. I'm going to do some vocabulary at the end of it, so stick around afterwards for some section 1 vocabulary.
Section 1. You will hear a woman phoning the secretary of a cycling club to find out about becoming a member.
Alright, so of course all of this you're already going to be sort of reading through this. You don't need to listen to him now. You don't even need to listen when they do the example. You're just going to be looking at grammar, maybe some keywords. So most of it is nouns in terms of grammar. I've seen adjectives occasionally, but I haven't seen them do verbs and adverbs. So most of what you're going to be doing is deciding whether you need single, plural or uncountable nouns. Number 1, there's no article over here, so it's going to be plural or uncountable. No article over here, plural or uncountable. This is going to be a name because it's called something. They'll probably spell that. This is going to be a number, of course, a speed. That means it can be single, plural or uncountable. Same again over here. This has no article, so it's going to be plural or uncountable. There is an article over there. Maybe circle it when you're doing your scanning. This will be a single noun. The, plural, uncountable or single, and plural or uncountable. So I'm just going to forward it through a little bit.
Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 6.
Hello, South City Cycling Club.
So I think they've done the example and you don't really need to listen to it. You're listening for membership 260, something about Australia, something about cycling. At this stage you can start just underlining a few keywords that you should be listening for.
Oh, hi. I want to find out about joining the club.
Right, I can help you there. I'm the club secretary and my name's Jim Hunter.
Alright, so there's the example, so start listening now.
Hi, Jim.
So, are you interested in membership for yourself?
That's right.
Okay, well there are basically 2 types of adult membership.
Here's our keyword membership.
If you're pretty serious about cycling, there's the full membership. That costs $260, and that covers you not just for ordinary cycling, but also for races both here in the city and also in other parts of Australia.
Alright, so he said not only for cycling, but. So again, the answer came after the but, which is very common, and he emphasized it quite a lot. Listen how he emphasizes it.
If you're pretty serious about cycling, there's the full membership. That costs $260, and that covers you not just for ordinary cycling, but also for races both here.
Also for races, so he emphasizes it quite a lot, and yes, it is a plural, so don't put race there. Plural or uncountable there because no article.
Here in the city and also in other parts of Australia.
Right. Well, I'm not really up to that standard. I was more interested in just joining a group to do some cycling in my free time.
So yes, we're listening for recreational and 108 in the back of your mind, but we want cost of membership includes club fee and something.
Sure, that's why most people join. So in that case, you'd be better with the recreational membership. That's $108 if you're over 19 and $95 if you're under.
I'm 25.
Okay, it's paid quarterly and you can upgrade it later to the full membership if you want to, of course. Now, both types of membership include the club fee of $20. They also provide insurance in case you have an accident.
So, include the club fee, they also provide insurance. Again, he emphasizes it. Quickly listen again.
Now, both types of membership include the club fee of $20. They also provide insurance in case you have an accident.
Let me just write these because many of you might not have the answers. So this might be a spelling issue for many of you. So how do you know, how do you learn that kind of word? Look, it's impossible to predict what words will come up in section 1, but you can have certain groups of words which come up often. This is in the money group, and very often they talk about fees and various things connected to money. So you should have a section 1 money vocabulary list. At the end of this, I'll explain a bit more about the groups of vocabulary that you should have for Section 1.
Though we hope you won't need that, of course.
No. Okay, well, I'll go with the recreational membership, I think. And that allows me to join in the club activities and so on?
That's right. And once you're a member of the club, you're also permitted to wear our kit when you're out cycling. It's green and white.
Yes, I've seen cyclists wearing it. So can I buy that at the club?
No, it's made to order by a company in Brisbane. You can find them online. They're called Jerry's. That's Jerriz. You can use your membership number to put in an order on their website.
You don't need to do it in all capital letters, but just make sure you don't have the first letter as a small letter. It's a name, so that it must be a capital letter. But if you do it all capital letters, it's fine.
Okay. Now can you tell me a bit about the rides I can do?
Sure. So we have training rides pretty well every morning, and they're a really good way of improving your cycling skills as well as...
Not really listening. I'm looking at level B, and I remember that there will be some times there later.
...your general level of fitness, but they're different levels. Level A is pretty fast. You're looking at about 30 or 35 kilometres an hour. If you can do about 25 kilometres an hour, you'd probably be level B.
So, of course, a distractor there. Level A is, I don't know what he said, 35. And then he put the keyword came after the answer, which they often do. So, 25 kilometers per hour will put you in level B. Answer came after the answer came before the keyword.
And then level C are the novices who stay at about 15 kilometres per hour.
So those are all obvious distractors, A, B and C, the different speeds.
Right. Well, I reckon I'd be level B. So when are the sessions for that level?
There are a couple each week. They're both early morning sessions. There's one on Tuesdays, and for that one you meet at 5:30 a.m. and the meeting point's the stadium.
Right, the stadium. So this group of words, I would say, is probably sports facilities. Things like a golf course, a tennis court, a swimming pool, a running track, a football field, all sports facilities, a gym. Have a small list of all of the sports facilities you can think of. This is a stadium.
Do you know where that is?
Yes, it's quite near my home, in fact. Okay, and how about the other one?
That's on Thursdays. It starts at the same time, but they meet at the main gate to the park.
Is that the one just past the...
Quite difficult. They said meet at the main gate to the park, so maybe students want to put gate, but this is a synonym for main gate. The entrance is the gate. Main gate to the park. So if you heard that, then park is quite easy. So what's this group of words? I would say it's parts of a town, maybe. Things like not only buildings, but places in a town. A church, a station, a park, a hospital, things like that. Have a list of places in a town. It's quite common.
Shopping mall?
That's it.
That was a distractor there. A mall, that's another place in a town.
The same time, but they meet at the main gate to the park.
Is that the one just past the shopping mall?
That's it.
So is that one past the shopping mall? But mall will also be in that list. Right. Hour and a half.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 7 to 10.
Hour and a half. Members have something together afterwards. You could have done this actually afterwards. We didn't need to do this grammar in the beginning. Maybe it would be better to wait until now to do this grammar. Plural uncountable, single noun, anything plural
Now listen
uncountable.
and answer questions 7 to 10.
Just a quick note before he goes on. Sometimes the grammar can help you in another way, not the article, the main verb. If they're looking for the answer over here in the subject of the sentence, maybe there or maybe there, you can look at the main verb and see if it's, in this case, has or have, and that can give you information about single or plural.
So how long are the rides?
They're about an hour and a half, so if you have a job, it's easy to fit in before you go to work. And the members often go somewhere for coffee afterwards, so it's quite a social event.
All right, quite straightforward. He emphasized it quite a lot. Members often go somewhere for coffee afterwards, and that's uncountable noun. There is not always something negative with the group. Single noun.
That sounds good. I've only just moved to the city, so I don't actually know many people yet.
Well, it's a great way to meet people.
And does each ride have a leader?
Sometimes, but not always.
Again, answer kind of came before the keyword. Does each group have a leader? Sometimes, but not always.
But you don't really need one. The group members on the ride support one another anyway.
So we're listening for check and print and website.
How would we know where to go?
If you check the club website, you'll see that the route for each ride is clearly marked. So you can just print that out and...
The route for each ride is clearly marked, so you can just print that out. So we had check and website, and then print came after the answer. This is a good word, quite a general word, but you see it in a lot of reading and everything. Make sure you know that word.
And take it along with you. It's similar from one week to another, but it's not always exactly the same.
And what do I need to bring?
Well, bring a bottle of water.
She said, what do I need to bring? So that's kind of the key word there. You must have. But don't put water there because the bikes must have something, not the bikers or the cyclists. The bikes must have something.
And your phone. You shouldn't use it while you're cycling, but have it with you.
Right.
And in winter, it's well before sunrise when we set out, so you need to make sure your bike's got lights.
That's okay.
Plural, we were looking for plural or uncountable. So he said a bottle of water and your phone. Those are a bottle of water is singular, and that's what the person must bring. That was the trick here. They needed to make sure that the bikes had what? Listen again.
Set out, so you need to make sure your bike's got lights.
Lights. We were looking for uncountable or plural. And we got plural. Alright, so I think usually there's one or two that are band 8, band 9 questions. I think in this case it was probably that one and maybe that one. But overall not really a very difficult section 1. You can really aim for 10 out of 10 with this. Right, let's just move on to a little bit of vocabulary. The first thing that I do with my students on the first day that I start listening with them is I tell them to write down days of the week and months of the year. You will not believe how many people make spelling mistakes with days of the week and months of the year. So please make sure that you can write all of them without a spelling mistake. You cannot afford to throw away marks because you can't spell February. So the most common ones that they misspell is February and October. They tend to put an R over here and say October. Then of course Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Please know your spelling for these. You might think I'm joking, but they always make mistakes. Right. Then for this little vocabulary, I thought that I would do some street names because they're very, very useful. You often have to do a street name. So I went and found the most common street names in the UK, and I will dictate them to you and you write them down. First, what are all the words that they use for street names? Of course, first one is street, second one is road, third one is avenue, and the fourth one is lane. Those are the most common ones. Sometimes you can have drive. That's usually a verb, but you can use it for a road as a noun. Then very rarely, it's worth knowing, is you have the word and then way and then a word and then field. We will see a couple of those, and that's when this whole thing is one word. But I doubt they will ask you to do that. It would be a band 9 question. Right, so these are the most common street names in the United Kingdom. Are you ready to write? You can pause the video and write, or just say them to yourselves. High Street. Station Road. Main Street. Park Avenue. Church Road. Please, capitals, capitals, capitals. Don't forget that. London Road. Victoria Road. Victoria Road. This is a name, it's a girl's name. It's a common road because that was one of the previous queens of England. Green Lane. Queen's Road. Remember the S. Highfield Road. Highfield Road. There is this field suffix that I was talking about up here. See, it's one word. Mill Lane. Kingsway. Kingsway. There's the way suffix. Springfield Road. Broadway. Broad means wide. George Street. George was a previous king. Queensway. North Road. Of course, north, west, east or south. So know how to spell them. Students make mistakes with this. School Lane. Right, then often they also call them after natural features. So, Forest Road. Hill Street. Mountain Road. River Road. So the way that you need to learn vocabulary for section 1, it's very difficult to predict. There are thousands and thousands of possible words, but put them into groups. One group that I would start is all of the natural features. Another group that I would start is all of the buildings and the parts of a town: school, station, park. A mill is a building, a place where they crush things to make flour. You can do colors. I've seen a lot of colors, so make sure you know the main colors. The famous British names, I wouldn't do too much. Don't worry too much about that. This is buildings in a town. This is parts of a town. Buildings in a town, parts of a town. Alright, I guess it's pretty basic vocabulary, but that's what section 1 vocabulary is. We'll do some more sections. For example, you could also start a section on sports and hobbies. You could also start a section on equipment, like office equipment, and put all your vocabulary into those small groups so that it becomes easier for you to remember them. Alright, I think that's enough for that.